Deonna Purrazzo has signed a new long-term exclusive contract with Impact Wrestling. That's right, Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion Deonna Purrazzo has finally been tied down to Impact Wrestling, signing a long-term contract with the company. It was revealed during the press pass call this week by Josh Matthews to promote Bound for Glory, of course, coming this Saturday. Now, Deonna Purrazzo has reacted to the news on social media over the last couple of days and said she's very excited about the future with Impact Wrestling. She wrote, quote, "I've been waiting to talk about this publicly. I'm happy to confirm and so excited about what the future holds. Impact Wrestling." Deonna Purrazzo, of course, returned. She did have some history of Impact Wrestling, and she returned to Impact Wrestling this past June. She was released from WWE. She regularly competed on NXT, a few main roster appearances too. She was released in April due to the budget cuts associated with the current COVID-19 pandemic. She captured the Knockouts Championship not that long after returning as well. Only a couple of months after returning, she defeated Jordynne Grace at Slammiversary to become the new Impact Knockouts champion. Of course, this Saturday, Deonna Purrazzo will be, in my opinion, one of the co-main events of Bound for Glory as she defends the Knockouts Championship against #1 contender Kylie Rae at Bound for Glory. I think it's news everyone really saw coming, to be honest, when it comes to Kylie Rae signing a deal with Impact Wrestling. I was stunned, to be honest, that it took this long, quite frankly. Deonna Purrazzo, since she returned to Impact Wrestling, since she was released by WWE, I always found it was, to be honest, a bit of a crime she got released in the first place. She has done a fantastic job. She's done an absolutely brilliant job in Impact Wrestling. She was already going into an absolutely stacked Knockouts division. The Knockouts division is absolutely brilliant, and she's gone straight to the top, and has been the figurehead. She's been the driving force of the Knockouts division ever since returning, and she's done an absolutely fantastic job. So whatever contract she's got, she's absolutely earned it, and she absolutely deserves it. You look at what she's done since she returned to Impact Wrestling earlier this year. She had the match against Jordynne Grace at Slammiversary for the Knockouts Championship, which of course she won the title. That match, I can't remember off the top of my head. How many stars did Dave Meltzer give it? Let me know in the comment section how many stars Dave Meltzer gave that match. But it was criminally low. It was criminally low. I want to say it was like 2.5 stars he gave it. Not that stars really mean anything. Star ratings, I don't pay that much attention to. Well, you like the match or you didn't, for me. That's how I judge matches. I watch the match and I go, yeah, I like that match. Or, yeah, I like that part, I didn't like that part. Or, I didn't like the finish, blah, blah, blah. Star ratings are just, it's just, when it comes to things like that, when it comes to, like, say, Dave Meltzer, his opinion, his star ratings, if you're watching this video, your opinion is just as valid as Dave Meltzer. Your opinion is just as valid as anyone that writes about professional wrestling. Because you know what it is? Professional wrestling is entertainment, and it's subjective, and it's about opinion. Professional wrestling is like music. You have different genres. Some people like rock and roll, some people like pop, some people like jazz, and some people like certain tracks. AC/DC, they're just releasing an album, right? I think like next month in November. And I guarantee there'll be people that are diehard ACD fans, and they'll be like, you know what, I don't like that track. And then someone else will be like, I like that track though. It's opinion. And it's the same with pro wrestling. So I don't pay attention to star ratings. All I know is, in my opinion, that was criminally underrated. I thought the match against Jordynne Grace at Slammiversary was absolutely fantastic. Arguably, possibly the best match on the show, and I would love to have a debate with anyone about that, because I really thought the match was truly that good. But it wasn't just that. It wasn't just that match that's been absolutely fantastic with Deonna Purrazzo and Impact Wrestling. She obviously had the match against Jordynne Grace at Slammiversary, but she also had the follow-up match, in my opinion, an even better match against Jordynne Grace at Impact Emergence. It was the main event. It was the main event of Impact Emergence. Night 2, I believe, was the main event. I might be wrong there. It's so much goes on in professional wrestling. I think it was Night 2. And, of course, it was the Iron Man match. The Iron Man, 30-minute Iron Man match. Brilliant. Brilliant. Just so good. So if you haven't seen the match, go and watch it. Iron Man matches are difficult. They can be a difficult watch. The important thing with Iron Man matches is the story that you tell. That's why I like them. If they're done well, I absolutely love an Iron Man match, because the story that you can tell between falls, whether it's working over an injured body part, or whether it's going 3-0 down and then trying to get back to tie it and then even win it, and then the drama of the last few minutes, all of that, it's absolutely brilliant, and they absolutely did a fantastic job, and it proves the strategy and the mentality when it comes to women's wrestling and Impact that main evented a TV special. The caliber of athlete was that high. The match quality was that high, and it absolutely deserved to be in the main event of a TV special. It was brilliant. And now, of course, you're moving over to her feud with Kylie Rae, which I think has been very well done. I thought Kylie Rae, of course, became the #1 contender for the Knockouts Championship at Slammiversary back in July, and they've managed to stretch this out, that they haven't had the match from July until October now. I think that's fantastic storytelling by Impact Wrestling there as well. They've taken their time. If this was other companies, you'd have had it, July, you'd have had it in August, or you'd have had it straight after, you'd have had it in Impact Emergence. Impact said, no, we're taking our time with this, we're going to tell a story here, and I think they've done fantastically well with that. I enjoyed as well Deonna Purrazzo's match against Susie at Victory Road for the Knockouts Championship, and it looks like that's going to be the catalyst to bring back Su Yung. Of course, her arm was broken at Victory Road as well, so the Knockouts division, to be honest, when it comes to Impact Wrestling, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Is it the best women's division in the world? You know what? It's certainly a debatable topic. It certainly is a debatable topic. It's certainly better than AEW's women's division, and I know that upsets people. I know that really annoys people when you bring that up and say, oh, Impact's Knockouts division is better than AEW's women's division, but it is. It's just, that is a cold, hard fact. Again, it's opinion. Maybe some people have different opinions. If you do, comment section's the best place to put it. But for me, it blows the AEW women's division out of the water. You look at the Knockouts division in Impact Wrestling, there are multiple segments of the show. It's not just a one-segment division. They've got multiple storylines on the show. It's not just the Knockouts Championship storyline. You've got underneath storylines, whether it's involving Rosemary or Taya Valkyrie or whoever, or Tenille Dashwood. It goes on and on. You've got Jordan Grace getting involved in the X division. You've got knockouts in multiple segments, multiple storylines on the show. They are a pillar of the show. They are vital to the show, how it flows and how it's presented on Access TV. They've got matches that can be in the main event of pay-per-views, TV specials, and just the television show in general. The match at Impact Emergence, the Iron Man match, is evidence of that. And they're not just having matches that just go 5 minutes like you have seen on Dynamite. And as I mentioned, Jordan Grace and Deonna Purrazzo, they main evented Impact Emergence and they stole the show. And arguably, again, at Slammiversary, which could be said was, Bound for Glory hasn't even happened yet, that happens at the weekend, but Slammiversary might be seen as the biggest show this year just because of the impact, pun intended, that it had on the company, whether it was the people returning, the debuts, the trending worldwide, trending in the United States, the record amount of subscribers to Impact Plus, the record numbers they did on YouTube during that month. And during all of that, during that massive storm of just momentum and success that Impact had in July with Slammiversary, Jordan Grace and Deonna Purrazzo arguably stole the show. And that's credit to both of them, and that's credit to Impact when it comes to the booking of the Knockouts division. And again, I don't want to turn it into an Impact versus AEW thing, but AEW, when it comes to their women's division, they just ain't doing that. They are nowhere near. And as I mentioned, I don't want to turn it into an Impact versus AEW thing. I don't want to turn it into an Impact versus WWE thing or anything like that. But in my opinion, I really do think that the Impact Knockouts division rivals the WWE women's division. I really do. Now, I would probably argue, if I was really backed into a corner and I had to put my neck out on the line here, I would probably argue that WWE/NXT, their women's division is better due to just the sheer size of it and the sheer number of talent they have under contract and the quality of depth and talent that they have there. You can't argue that WWE doesn't take women's wrestling seriously in certain cases. You've had the females main event WrestleMania at this point, and there's an argument for me that Bayley and Sasha Banks Sunday at Hell in a Cell, that could main event and probably should main event the pay-per-view there. So I would probably argue WWE's is a fraction better, but then it should be. Look at the money that they've invested, look at the amount of people they've got under contract. It should be better. It should be. But Impact Wrestling has shown that women's wrestling in 2020 is so important. It's vital. It's absolutely vital. They have proved that women's wrestling can draw and it can be the main event. And Deonna Purrazzo signing a long-term deal with Impact just reaffirms to me Impact Wrestling's commitment to women's wrestling. That's what it really shows to me. It shows that it is such a vital part of the promotion. They've got such a commitment to building the Knockouts division and expanding it and continuing to build the Knockouts division, which at this point, as I mentioned earlier, with the amount of segments that they're involved in, with the amount of matches and TV main events that they're having, it's a cornerstone of the show. It really is. To be honest, and I mentioned it at the start of the video here, if anything, I'm just shocked it took this long for Deonna Purrazzo to be signed to a full-time deal. I really am. She mentioned so many times on social media that, oh, I'm not fully signed to Impact yet, or I haven't got an exclusive deal or a long-term deal, and I was shocked by that. I was very surprised by that. I think Fightful, their Fightful Select, their Patreon service, I think they first reported this, gosh, it might be 2 or 3 weeks ago, that Deonna Purrazzo had been offered and signed a long-term deal with Impact. But before that, I mean, I don't know the details of her original agreement with Impact Wrestling, but before that, I think she had possibly been working a short-term deal or a non-exclusive deal, or who knows, maybe even a handshake deal with Impact Wrestling. Now, I must say, when it comes to, you know, a handshake deal or a short-term deal or anything like that, I've said this a couple of times before, that I think Impact were very confident of signing Deonna Purrazzo to a long-term deal at some point, because you don't make her the Knockouts champion otherwise, do you? You don't put the belt on someone knowing that, oh, they could leave at any second. That would just be very bad, very bad booking, and just very silly. And I don't think Impact were going to do that. They knew that she was committed to the company, and they were committed to her. And now that she has signed a new long-term deal, she's going to be around in Impact for a long time, which I think is fantastic. You know, this Saturday, Bound for Glory, it's a tough one to call between her and Kylie Rae. It really is. I think in my predictions, I said that I felt that Deonna Purrazzo would retain, because I think Su Yung will return and attack Kylie Rae. That's what I think is going to happen. So I'm going to go with Deonna Purrazzo to retain Saturday, but I mean, it's a tight one to call. And regardless of the outcome, I think the match is going to be absolutely fantastic. I think the match is going to be brilliant, because Deonna Purrazzo, at the moment in Impact Wrestling, every single match she has is just, it gets better and better, and it's different stories, and it's drama, and it's storytelling at its finest. It's a fantastic signing. It's a fantastic signing for Impact. She's a great talent, and I'm really looking forward to her match Saturday against Kylie Rae at Bound for Glory. I think it's going to be brilliant, and there's so many more matches that I'm looking forward for her to have. I'm looking forward to seeing her face Taya Valkyrie. And if they get some other knockouts in there, I'm looking forward to facing those. So I think the pool of talent, I think, is so huge. And maybe a match against Rosemary too, that would be brilliant. That I think Deonna Purrazzo is just going to be fantastic. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And again, you've got people like Tenille Dashwood returning as well. The division is so stacked. The division is so stacked, and it's a fantastic signing for Impact Wrestling. But of course, as always, this is just one man's opinion. What are your thoughts on Deonna Purrazzo signing a long-term deal with Impact Wrestling? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll be sure to respond and reply to all of your comments. Really enjoy interacting with you guys and chatting about Impact Wrestling here on the channel. If you have enjoyed this video, smash a like on the like button. If you're glad that Deonna Purrazzo has signed a long-term deal with Impact Wrestling, smash a like on that like button too. But most importantly, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to Wrestle News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right-hand corner of the screen right now. Or if you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video, along with another video for you to watch. We will be doing a live watch along for Bound for Glory tomorrow night here on the channel. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe and click that notification bell, and you'll be notified once we go live on Saturday night. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.